prepare to brace. It is me, Chanel O'Connor, all the way from RuPaul's Drag Race UK Series 6. I'm the villain, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, and I'm also f***ing stunning. Point of the story is, if you want to see how I turn into this gorgeous, how's your head, Beauty and the Beast, candelabra look. I don't know what I'm saying, but point of the story is, stick around if you want to see how I get into this fabulous, how's your headpiece look. Darling. In 3, 2, 1. Well, prepare to brace. It is me, it is Chanel O'Connor, the RuPaul's Drag Race star, villain, icon, and legend of season 6. I cannot wait to tell you guys the ins, the outs, the ups, the downs, everything in between of episode 5. If you're not watching this video, then you're only going to get 10% of what Marmalade has told us online on Twitter. Hands down. Now folks, this episode there's a lot to unpack. We're talking on talk shows, we're doing headpieces, we're giving each other head. Actavia's very teethy, we don't like that. We've done our foundation. No, I'm lying again, look at me go. We've done our primer for our gorgeous skin. I am shaving every single day most days and it is destroying my skin. So it's really important to look after it. So thank you, Charlotte Tilbury, really appreciate that. Look, reveal yourself. Charlotte Tilbury. We're jumping onto brows, folks, because we're going to get ourselves into this. You people who call me basic, how dare you? I am. This is another basic Chanel look. So, how do we start this episode? By seeing Zahira go home. Listen folks, I do viewing parties, so I'm up and down the country, and it's weird going to these venues and you have to sit there and you have to watch everything else happen again. Please send your love and your appreciation to our darling dearest sister, Zahira. With Zahira out the picture, what are we up to? We're sitting on the couches. And the way that the discussion works is like, girls, we're sat there for like 40 minutes. We're sat there for a long time. This was the first instance of me talking too much.
Welcome to episode 8. Chanel is still talking.
It's a load of bull. Do you know why I talk too much? We have to talk. If you don't talk, you go home. Honestly, if you're not speaking, what are you doing? I'm dyslexic and I'm a bit of a sporadical thinker. So a lot of the time I will have these ideas and these ideas to go in a certain direction of conversation, but I will just I'll miss the turn off. Round and round we go.
Which you are doing right now.
Which I'm doing right now. Perfect example. That part was the kind of first instance where I really heard people be like, you talk too much. Okie doke, folks, we are going to take that gorgeous... Listen, I have never washed this and I never will.
Ew, Michelle.
We're going to take that gorgeous grease palette, dump into this ginger, because I'm back being a ginger, sexy ginger. And a bit of a bitch, and we're gonna slap on a brow. So let's do this. 3, 2, 1. Okie doke, folks, we're back. I've taken off my jumper because it's fucking warm, and we're getting into this foundation. The crack is, I'm gonna crack on with my foundation, but if you really want to see me and how I kind of go through my process, this is just a standard Chanel beat. So if you want to see that, jump back and go and watch my promo, and you can really see how I like to play with makeup. But nobody's here for the makeup. We're all here for the juicy goss. So let's get into this. The mini challenge. We're kind of coming in, it's a new day in the workroom. So the idea was we were to perform our best dad jokes to Raven and Mr. Charles. So let's be real, there's us, Raven and RuPaul, another 15 members of crew, maybe 20 people. There's so many people in the room, deadly silent. And I have to say this, it is the hardest thing in the world when someone goes to make me laugh. What can you like build from that? You have to really like be quite intelligent in what you say and what you word and how you are. Like someone like Lavoie, so much experience when it comes to like live performing and comedy that even like her jokes flopped. Lils, Marmalades, we were just trying our best to get anything and they were all just so stone cold. Fun fact, I had 2 other goes. And I'm glad they didn't air them because they were even like worse jokes. That was the best joke out of all 3.
Where you stick the cucumber.
And I remember when I did them, I just wanted the ground to actually swallow me up. I wanted to die. I think this, Americans can appreciate British humour, but there is some nuances with how we speak and how our humour is and the references we pull that sometimes they just don't get. I start the joke like this. I go, okay, I used to work in a toy shop and I used to be in charge of making sure the kids were going in the right direction. And I'd always usher them in like this. I go, come on, in here. In we go, in we go. It was an empty lift shaft. Oh my God. I watched people walk out the room. Like nobody laughed. I was there like... begging for the chair to not only throw me backwards, to also maybe just like break my spine. Because I wanted to die in that moment. Ru then goes, what's a lift? What's a lift shaft? And then you hear someone go, elevator. And then I kind of remembered, I was like, oh, I've just made a joke about killing children. Ha! There's the children in need booking gone. And the other joke, bless my cotton socks, but I tried my best. There once was a shopkeeper and she let her cat out on the road. And sadly, the cat got ran over by a guy in a car. So the guy in the car comes in and says, I'm so sorry, I've just killed your cat. And I'd like to replace it. And the shopkeeper goes, well, I don't know how good you are at catching mice. Spontaneous combustion was the only option. Get me the f*** out of here. Right guys, let me get this foundation on because we need to talk about the actual challenge. Let me be like Mary Poppins. What shall I pull out from the bag? Ah! No, let's get into this. Let's get into talking about this main challenge because this is a really interesting challenge. This is a challenge where we all kind of were like, how the f*** is this gonna work? It's a talk show challenge. It's an opportunity for you to tell some fun little stories and little anecdotes about your life. The whole thing was just be prepared, you know, rehearse your stories, make sure you're kind of concise and you understand what you're talking about, you get your punchlines in the right directions and you kind of know what you're up to. But before we get into that, let's actually talk about how Kiki chose these fucking groups. What did you guys think at home? Because I remember sitting there in that moment being like, Kiki, you're a fool. I kind of sat there and was like, whatever group I want to be in, I don't want to be in the group that has Lavoie in it. The fact that Kiki put herself on that team, stupid. I tried to sort of say that being like, Kiki, you're only going to get 20% of the time compared to the rest of us. Like, at the end of the day, if you want to have a dinner party, sometimes a smaller dinner party is a more focused environment to be around rather than like a huge social gathering.
But you've put yourself in a group of 5 where you will only get 20%.
Where you've got big personalities like Lavoie. Like, she is amazing, but diva, she will eat you for breakfast if you are not quick enough to hang around with her. I'm so sorry, Miss Kiki, you had literally made your own coffin.
And
Now folks, let's talk about my experience with the challenge because this was the difficult one. It's like, we haven't really seen how this is judged before. We were going in blind. Let's have our walkthrough with Ru, let's talk with Ru, see what they can give us. Then after that, we were sort of dismissed and like, I think we actually also got to leave set early that day. I know, this is a story.
I can't wait to see how this turns out.
I remember going back to the hotel. I didn't hear them at all, but I'm in my hotel room and I am rehearsing. I'm talking to myself, I'm finding a natural rhythm with how I can tell these stories and I'm just out loud talking. I didn't know this, but there was 5 members of the Queen team outside my door because they thought I had a phone. I remember them saying, we just listened to you. We tried to hear if we could hear someone else speaking. We were so concerned that you had snuck a phone in. And I remember them telling me this after the challenge and I was like, you know, you could have just knocked on my door and been like, Chanel, who are you on the phone to? And I would have been like, no! Little did they know I had a sippy cup on one end with a string all the way to Manchester. What do you think of this story, Noel? Girl, come the f*** on. I have a wild life. I have done wild things. I've had wild stories, wild things. But see, in that moment, the only story I could think about was f***ing Sigourney Weaver and shagging this guy with the giant alien. And you know what's so funny? I posted that picture on Twitter and someone messaged me and went, I've been to his house too. It's ridiculous. And I was like, Survivors United. Did you survive Alien Romulus? I did too. And I will say, the sex was fantastic. Point of that story was, this was a challenge that was so different from anything else. So you really had to work on your improv skills, your kind of social cues, making sure your elocution lessons were up and down, and making sure that you could speak right in front of an audience and pronunciate. And trust and believe, I gave it a good go. And the crazy thing is, folks, we were all so chatty with each other, but you guys didn't get to see that. We tried our best, but also I will say this, poor Octavia, her story went on for so long.
Few times too far.
I remember having time to build a watch out of sticks and wood, look at the watch, dismantle the watch, and she was still going on about her f***ing story about her losing her luggage in Leeds. No one's fussed. But the crazy thing with this one is as well, we have the challenge, but just before this, Chara says that comment about, am I gonna let the host speak?
If you were to interview someone, would you let the interviewee speak as well?
To give you some background knowledge, at this point in the competition, I am really run down. I am really affected because I felt like every time I spoke, someone would roll their eyes, someone would make a joke, and my feelings were always never taken seriously. I just felt that comment was so... It did affect me, and it was a moment where, like, I had to be like, okay, cool, let me get ready for the challenge where it's a talk show challenge. I've now got it in my head that I talk too much. I remember sitting there during that challenge. I didn't enjoy it because I was so aware of Chara and so aware of everyone to be like, I can't talk over them, right? Their story's going on for ages. Cool, I'll just sit here in silence. Yep. But I wanted her to know that, like, she did upset me because I'm going to tell people if they upset me. I was like, do you know what, Chara? You came to me when you were upset when I upset you. I'm going to do the exact same back to you, and I'm going to tell you when I'm upset. I was quite a controversial character, so I feel like I had a big target on my back. But I also believe that people are allowed to have those moments and then you have to give them a grace. And something you guys don't get to see is how we're all interacting with each other. And a lot of it was, Chanel's the butt of the joke. Oh, Chanel talks too much. Oh my God, Chanel, shut the f*** up. Oh my God. There was loads of moments where I felt so drained of always just being the butt of the joke. And there was a lot of moments that I just chose not to speak. So we would be standing at the table and I would just go, I'm just going to stay silent because I actually don't have the energy to say something. Then someone has a rebuttal. Then it's like, then it has a back and forth and you're playing ping pong with people when you actually have ran out of balls to ping to pong. And yes, I made my own bed and I lay in it. And listen, I got out of that bed, I apologised to Marmalade. It was all cool and dandy. So the one thing I didn't appreciate was always being constantly reminded of it. Because I tell you this, it takes a of steel to be on that show, to do drag, to be who you want to be unapologetically. So if you're going to send me hate or if you're going to send me messages, baby, you are wasting your time. And the crazy thing here, folks, is we are so long past filming that a lot of these situations that have happened with each other, we've gotten over because you're in a competition headspace. It's a completely different environment to the real world. So I adore everyone from that show and I appreciate that we have all worked so hard to come together and create a masterpiece of television. And to be the villain is a pleasure. But to be on season 6 is even more of a pleasure. Point of the story is, it was a rough one for Chanel this week. Jesus Christ, I was sick of everyone. And I'm sure everyone was sick of me. Drag Race is so intense in that moment. But I have had a long time to sit, figure myself out. And watching myself every week do something wrong is rather, it's a lot emotionally to deal with. Usually, you're an asshole, you never have to think about it again, and then you're on to the next thing. So, speaking of getting on to the next thing, baby, let's get these eyes on and let's start talking about this runway because it's headpiece. Okie doke, folks, we have added a bit of blush and we have jumped in to do a basic cut crease eye. The very important difference that makes me so different to every other runway that I have absolutely done is instead of a silver eye, I'm gonna do a golden eye. I want it to be this like golden black velvet goddess. So let's get into it. Let's talk about this runway. I have to say, this is one of my favorite runways. And you know, I had so many ideas, so many vibes, but the one thing that I thought I would do is maybe this homage to being a dressmaker. You know, I kind of looked at my runway package and went, well, I've not actually worn anything black yet. It was funny, Niall told me this, he was like, you have only worn like short skirts. I was like, oh, to me it was different, but a lot of you at home think I kind of wear very similar styles of silhouettes. We don't really know the runway placements. We kind of find out when you're there. The inspiration behind this outfit is a little bit Mugler. You know, you got the Mugler cut, classic drag silhouette, and I know that RuPaul loves asymmetric. And a behind the scenes is, well, actually, I can't tell you behind the scenes until next week. Bitch, RuPaul tells me something that I go, ah! and I cannot wait to tell you it. So fingers crossed it gets shown on camera, but if it doesn't, you best believe you'll be hearing it first from me. Let's do it. Double speed. Ha!
Right, no, speed Okay, I'm gonna speed through this. No. No, don't go slow, you freak!
Okay, folks, let's double speed. We have a golden eye.
Wait,
Wait, no, sorry.
oh my god.
Okay, we're getting this. So folks, getting into this, some of the things that we had to do for this was a bit wild. I have a studio and there was a giant room upstairs that's used as a communal room that we sort of just kind of took over. And for this, we had laid a huge run of fabric out and we had collected, I'm talking hundreds of buttons. I think it reached thousands of buttons. And we laid out all those buttons and we sprayed, when I say we, this was a subtask nominated to Ellis and Niall. Simple creatures that I went, paint the buttons gold. They went, yerp! There is a table that I think the fabric slipped and there is gold, there's like gold spray paint marked on it. And I think back and I go, you can sell that table and make a lot of money now. But yes, this was a look where there was a lot of team energy and a lot of work and dedication went into it. You know, it was Sire working on the headpiece, me creating the base, Niall and Ellis working on the buttons. Ellis sat there and individually attached all of those buttons around this dress. And listen, this dress was gorgeous, stunning. You will see it in a bit, but I could not move in it. Looking at my package before, and when I got there, I was like, seeing what everyone else brought was so terrifying. Marmalade's look, she looked like a walking rotary line. Gorgeous. Lil literally looks like the human centipede at the Met Gala. People were gorgeous and so stunning, and I was looking at my package being like, well, there's nothing I can do. I've got the shit I got. Let's get on with it. And I will be honest, if I was to ever do this again, there was so much that I would definitely change, and spending a bit more time on finishing looks, finessing things, heightening things, taking it to the next level. And also, I didn't really have a lot of time. I also didn't have a big team around me. I would make sure for next time, I am doubling the team. I am doubling the budgets. I am doubling the size of my waist because I actually thought I was too skinny. I thought I was too skinny there.
Skinny isn't everything, girl. Skinny ain't everything.
I'm giving 2 marmalades, maybe even 3 marmalades.
5. Okay, 4.
3.5 at least. I love what I did on the show, but I'm not truly in love with everything that I've shown on the show so far. So you have to try your best. You can only bring what you can bring. And that's what I brought. Oh my god, guys, so I don't know if you know, there's this show, it's called In My Homosexual Opinion. They do have a YouTube channel, because I don't know if you know that. But there's these 2 queens called Darby and Alexis, because they have this show. They talk about me sometimes, and I quite enjoy it. And they said this, they hated me. I think Darby hated me for a while. And it wasn't until they came on my YouTube channel, because I have my own YouTube channel if you didn't know that, because they also have their own YouTube channel called In My Honest Opinion of a Homosexual Woman. They said that they hated me. Listen, it's okay to hate, but my favorite thing to do, I'm a converter. It is hilarious watching these girls literally roast my runways every week, and I sit there and I go, yeah, I agree with you. I literally go, yeah, the skirt is yeah, the skirt, yeah, it is a bit too simple.
Did they roast you on their channel?
They do YouTube videos. Have you guys heard of YouTube? It's just, like, I've never heard of it before.
It seems great.
It seems great. But I only use it because I heard of this show called
In My Homosexual Opinion.
In My Homosexual Opinion, which is on YouTube, which I wanted to watch because I heard from a friend of a friend of a friend that it was a good show. Love you. Heifers. So we've done our eyes, we've added some black liner, and we've just buffed that out because listen honey, we're gonna jump in and we're gonna do lips, we're gonna do a little bit of highlight, and we're just gonna do some finishing touches. But while I'm doing that, let's talk about the kind of end of this episode because, you know, congratulations to Lavoie for snatching that badge. And you know what's so funny? For a while, the statistics were that me and Lavoie were both on the same par for ages. So it's quite nice for Madame to finally come out and she's got her badge. So I'm so happy for her. And we're here for another week. So I am so excited to be safe and just be back there. And listen, to be safe is to be guaranteed to be there for another week. And at this stage with this cast and this caliber of drag that's around us, I am just grateful to be there, girls. Another little behind the scenes. This is one of my favorite songs. I adore this song, and I remember being up the back. You don't see it, but baby, I knew every word. I was like, and Octavia whipping that outfit off and having this full ensemble underneath ready to go. Iconic. She will spin, twirl, dance, jump, up, down. She is Kermit the Frog when it comes to performing. She is bouncing around. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. And so was Kiki. Kiki had a slow moments pulling us in, really, because I think that's how I would have sold it. That song has so many gorgeous build-up moments that I would just feel the music. But I wasn't lip syncing. I was standing in the back, mama, standing in the back. Things happen. It is that time, and Kiki had to go home. It's so heart-wrenching seeing someone give it their all, lip sync for their life, and be told to leave. It's never easy to watch. RuPaul adored Kiki. Her Kiki-isms, her moments, she has such a natural charm about her. I don't think it's going to be the last time that we will see of Kiki. What's the point of speaking and doing my lips? There's literally no point. So let me just take a little moment, let me finish these lips, and I'll do my finishing touches. Let's do it. Let's just get the f*** into this look. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! Whoa! Well, folks, and just like that, I'm in my how is your headpiece, gorgeous. Is it in frame? Look at this. It is so big, it's so gorgeous, it's so enormous. But it is an awkward fucker. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that. Point of the story is, everybody, I've been Chanel O'Connor, and thank you so much.
Oh my god.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Amn't I beautiful? Just tell me I'm beautiful. I beg of you, please. Do you know what I look like? You know when people get hit with a hammer?
In cartoon.
Like, jet
Bonk.
bonk. We will see you here again next week for another silliness and shenanigans with Chanel O'Connor. Thank you so much. And without further ado, let's party. Mwah!